What is good, you guys? Welcome back to the Heat Report and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Miami Heat's undrafted signings after the NBA draft, as well as their summer league roster, and that's going to consist of pretty much the entire video. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. And yeah, let's get right into it, man. So the NBA draft was last night, obviously, as I'm recording this video. A lot of interesting things happened in this draft. A lot of players were, taken a lot higher than they were projected. A lot of players were taken a lot lower than they were projected. And as a college hoops head, it was a very, very interesting draft for me to see. I definitely had the Hornets as my big winners of the draft. Getting Bouknight at 11, Kai Jones at 19, JT Thor at 37, and Scotty Lewis at 56. Love those picks for the Hornets. So shout out to the Hornets and Michael Jordan over there. But this video is about the Miami Heat and their involvement in the draft. Obviously, they did not have any picks this year, and there was some speculation about the Heat, potentially trying to trade up and into the second round or the first round in order to get someone. But I was always in the camp that the Heat would stay put, stay tight, and they would wait until the draft was over to sign someone undrafted because of the of how deep this draft class is. So, and that's what they did, and they ended up signing a lot of people. 7 guys officially were signed to the Miami Heat. And we're gonna go through all of these guys, man. If we're comparing to the list I made of the potential signings for the Heat to consider, I got one of them right, and that was Marcus Garrett. Marcus Garrett was a guy that I recommended, and they actually signed him. But the other guys were people I did not talk about. So we'll talk about all these guys because I am familiar with most of these guys, and some of these guys I did my research on. So I will be giving you guys my thoughts on all these signings and, of course, the summer league roster as well. So let's start off with DJ Stewart, who was one of the first signings made by the Heat. He is a 22-year-old 6'6" shooting guard out of Mississippi State. He's a left-handed player. He's a straight bucket. That's what he is. He's a bucket getter. He's a very good three-point shooter, but he'll have to speed up his release at the next level, in my opinion. I think his release is a little bit too slow. The things he could improve on: hustle, defensive awareness, lateral quickness are the 3 things that I pointed out on when I was watching film of him. He's not a guy that's going to dive on the floor for loose balls. So immediately that's a guy that doesn't really fit the Heat culture, in my opinion. But maybe his talent is just so good that we just, immediately just took a chance on him. He's not the quickest. He's very, very slow for his position. But I like his footwork. I like his tempo. He's very poised on the offensive end. And the offense is a skill set. So that's DJ Stewart, 6'6" shooting guard. Micah Potter is another guy that we signed. He's a 6'10" big man, power forward, center, whatever you want to call it, out of Wisconsin. Stretch big. He can really, really shoot the ball. He shot 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist on 50, 39, and 84% splits. So 50% from the field, 39% from 3 for a big is really, really good, and then 84% from the line. If you compare that to DJ Stewart shot 41% from the field, 34% from 3, and then 81% from the line. It's a little bit more inefficient, obviously, because he's taking more shots. DJ Stewart averaged 16, 3, and 3 on those numbers. But moving back to Michael Potter, 13, 6, and 1, like I said. He's a very solid low post scorer, stretch big. He has a solid motor, and he is a very, very, very good player in an off-ball motion offense, which is what the Heat usually rely on as far as dribble handoffs, cuts, a lot of these things. He's very effective in those offensive sets. His biggest weaknesses, in my opinion, are his rebounding and defending. He's a very, very slow-footed center. Reminds me a lot of Omer Yurtseven in a way. I think he's very, very similar to Omer Yurtseven. He's not the best rebounder. He's not the best post defender or perimeter defender whatsoever, but his offensive skill set includes his touch around the rim and around the perimeter. He's a very, very good 3-point shooter for his size. Next, we're going to be talking about RJ Nembhard, 6'5" guard out of TCU, 22-year-old. I keep saying 2022. 22-year-old guard out of TCU. He's a very, very good playmaker. Playmaking is his biggest forte. He's a very good two-way player as well. He can play defense, he can play make, and he can finish at the rim. He averaged 16, 4, and 4 on 40% from the field, 34% from 3, and 78% from line. Last season, his biggest weakness is his 3-point shooting. He's not the best 3-point shooter. He's shown flashes that he can shoot the 3, but he's not the most consistent. Although the rise in his free throw shooting from from his previous year to this year that he was just playing at TCU has really given scouts and has given a lot of people hope that he could polish up his three-point shot, because his free throw percentage rised over the years. He's not the best athlete, but where he gets his bread and butter from is his playmaking, his size for his position, and his defending for his position. He's a very good prospect in those areas. And then we'll talk about Marcus Garrett next. Marcus Garrett, 6'5" guard out of Kansas. He was a guy that I recommended. He was the defensive player of the year in 2020. Amazing defender. 11, 5, and 4 last season at Kansas. And I did, like I said, talked about him in the last video. He's a Matisse Thybulle like player in my opinion, but he could also probably add more on offense if you needed him to. So I love Marcus Garrett. I hope he really stays on the roster, because I think he fits the culture. I think he fits the team needs. A guard that can play amazing defense is what we don't have right now, and I think Marcus Garrett would be a nice addition. And then next we'll move on to Dejan Giroux, also known as DK Giroux, 6'5" point guard out of Houston. He's a very speedy point guard, athletic point guard, great defender, great motor. He once got suspended for biting an opponent, so I mean, UD and the Heat love that. Good playmaker, great size, but his weakness is that he's a very inconsistent shooter, especially from the free throw line, and he's also very careless at times on offense, which leads to a lot of turnovers. So that's how I would describe him. Averaged about 10, 5, and 4 on 43, 34, and 70% from the line splits last season. That's him. And then my two favorite guys, that the Heat signed. Javonte Smart is my number one favorite guy that the Heat signed. I loved his game at LSU. I saw him drop 27 against Michigan in the, I think it was the Sweet 16, or it might have been the Elite 8. And yeah, he's a pure point guard, but he also can score the ball from anywhere on the court. He's a great shooter. He averaged about 16, 4, and 4 on 46% from the field, 40% from 3, and 85% from the line. Those are really good numbers and really good percentages. He has a great motor. He's a great defender, and he's very strong for his position. His only weakness that I've seen is that he's not the most explosive athlete and does have tendencies to turn the ball over. And also, a lot of his opportunities on offense were by brute force and physicality, which a lot of scouts don't think he can, translate that to the NBA. But I think Javonte Smart is a steal. I think if we keep Javonte Smart, which I want to keep him, trust me, guys, Javonte Smart will be a great player in this league if he gets, consistent minutes from a team. And then lastly, AJ Lawson is the guy that a lot of people are excited about. I'm excited about him as well. Averaged 16, 4, and 1 on 39% from the field, 35% from 3, and 70% from the line. A very, inefficient player, but he did take a lot of shots at South Carolina. He's a 6'6" shooting guard. He's a great two-way prospect. He can fit in a motion offense as a shooter, but also as a ball handler and passer. He has good dribble penetration. Like I said, he needs to improve his playmaking and his consistency, especially from the three-point line, and also his shot selection. He does take a lot of questionable shots, but he is a name that a lot of people are excited about because he's only 21. He's a name that's been known for a while. He's from Toronto or something like that, or Ontario or something like that. So he's from Canada. I'm not trying to disrespect Canada, but he's from Canada. So those are the 7 guys we signed. Out of those 7, who I want to make the roster, I would love Micah Potter, I would love Javonte Smart, and I would love Marcus Garrett, and I would also love AJ Lawson. Those 4 are my top 4 right now. Micah Potter, the reason I would love him is because he's a stretch big, and that's something we don't really have right now after trading away Olynyk. And I think he would be a very good player to pair next to even Precious or Bam. Javonte Smart, my favorite player that we signed. I already told you why I wanted him. He's a guy that can play defense and can score at a high level from anywhere on the court, and also has an amazing motor. Marcus Garrett is a defensive specialist, and if you're a specialist, those players really go far. Like, the thing about him is I think he has a great chance to make the roster because a lot of the people that I named before him are really good at a lot of different things, but Marcus Garrett is elite at one particular thing, and that's playing defense. And if you're elite at one thing, that can get you far in this league. And then AJ Lawson, just because of the potential. He's only 21, and I think he has good potential for an undrafted player. So those are my top 4 out of the 7 guys we signed. The one thing that I found common about these prospects is that, number one, all the prospects addressed needs that we had. We needed a stretch big, we need a playmaker, we need a defender at the point guard position, and we also need a 3-level scorer. Out of all these 7 picks, we have at least one guy that can do one of those 4 things. So those are all covered. Number 2, the guards that we selected were very, very big for their position, like 6'5", 6'6", 6'4". We selected a lot of big guards to get into the team, which means Pat Riley knows that we need size at the guard position. Number 3, the fact that we selected so many guards tells me that K-Nun, Goran, Duncan, these guys are not safe. And I'm pretty sure these guys, the team is expecting one of these guys, or maybe even 2 of these guys, to leave the team this year. So they're trying to prepare by getting more guards onto the team because of the possible departure of guys like K-Nun or Goran or Duncan. So those are the takeaways that I had. I think that he were very smart with this. I think, I really noticed how they selected bigger guards. I noticed how they selected positions of need. Like, for example, Micah Potter, he's a stretch big. He fits that stretch big role. Marcus Garrett, he's a defender. He fits the defender role. A scorer, you can even have DJ Stewart or Javonte Smart as your scorer. And as a playmaker, RJ Nembhard is one of the best playmakers in this draft class. So I think that, Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg really did their homework on these prospects, and I'm very excited to see how they perform in the summer league this year. This is the summer league roster. So off the bat, we have Precious Achiuwa, we have KZ, we have Omer Yurtseven, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, the 7 players that we just signed. So Marcus Garrett, Giroux, Smart, Nembhard, Stewart, Micah Potter, AJ Lawson, and then we have 3 other guys, Drew Smith, Justin Smith, and Tyson Carter, who I think were fill-in players. So that's our summer league roster. Out of these guys, I'm very excited to see what Precious is about. I'm very excited to see, what he brings. Especially after, I think he played pretty well at the Olympics for Nigeria. Offense was a little bit lacking, but I thought he played amazing defense and rim protection, rebounding, hustle, that was all there. So I'm excited to see him, and I'm really excited to see KZ. I'm excited to see KZ because I think KZ, he's been in the league longer than a lot of these guys. I'm pretty sure he's probably been in the league longer than everyone on this roster right now. And I think that KZ, he's going to have to show us something because, like I said, we invested a lot of stock in him. We traded away 3 future second-round picks for him to move up and get him. KZ Okpala is going to have to show us something, and I think he's due for a season like this. And I think the summer league would be the perfect start for him if he can show some potential. It hasn't really worked out on offense like that with Nigeria. I've never really seen a player so good at one thing and then so raw at another thing. Like, his defense is elite. I think he's probably one of the best defenders in the NBA already, and I'm saying this as a bold statement because I do believe he is. But his offense is just so raw, and he's gonna have to improve that. And I think the summer league is a perfect place for him to do so. So that's about KZ. And then I want to see these undrafted guys that we just signed. I want to see at least 2 or 3 or 4 of them make their mark, and I want to see them, cement a place on this team, because I think a lot of these guys are talented, but they're gonna have to show us something as well. So I'm super excited, man. I'm very excited to see, how this roster shapes out. Obviously, free agency starts on Monday, so we'll see what happens with guys like Duncan and Goran and Andre and people like that. But we'll see what happens. Also, the video about Bradley Beal obviously I look like an idiot now because apparently he's staying. So maybe it's probably time to move on from him. If Bradley Beal wants to stay, let him stay. We don't have to trade for him if he wants to stay. Forget about Bradley Beal. Go for another guy. Because apparently he wants to stay now. I don't want to see anyone else saying free Beal, by the way, because he's the one who wants to stay. That's something that I want to say. Bradley Beal, just forget about him. He's gonna stay. That's fine. We'll go on to the next target, which is whoever it may be. So I think that's probably where we're gonna end the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my breakdown of all the undrafted signings we did and also the summer league roster. I'll see y'all later. As always, man, let me know down in the comment section what you guys are excited about, what signings you're excited about, and what part of the summer league you guys are excited about. Peace.